Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the historic Hobart Arena, downtown Troy, Ohio, for tonight's Southwestern Ohio hockey between the Knights of Alter and your Troy High School Trojans. Before we begin, please remember Hobart Arena is a smoke-free facility. Additionally, despite enhanced safety devices installed in the building, fans are reminded that pucks, sticks, and other objects can and will leave the playing surface at any time. So please remain alert at all times. Also, the arena staff reminds you the walkway directly behind the glass is for passing through only. Please do not stand behind or lean onto the safety glass guarding the ring surface. Thank you for your cooperation. The officials will sign this meeting minutes selected and signed according to the procedures adopted by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League. Your officials tonight, Mr. Lee McClure and Mr. Eric Schreiner. And now let's meet the starting lineups for each team. First, for the Alter Knights. At left defense, number 88, Ty Gunderson. At right defense, number 42, Adam Ryder. At left defense, number 22, John Linder. At right defense, number 91, Danny Mahoney. At number 90, Dixon Phillips. In the middle, Grant Russell. And now the coach is Kevin Perry and his assistant Kanago Abel. And now the starting lineup for your Troy High School Trojans. At right defense, number 11, Colin Burke.
welcome back inside the historic Hobart Arena. I'm JT Zabo, and tonight is a big one as the Trojans have a conference opponent in Alter. Archbishop Alter is in town, invading the Miami Valley, as these two hockey clubs have quite the history between each other. They are neck and neck in the standings in the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League, as with the big win last night against Elder, the Trojans coming into tonight's game 10-4 overall on the season. And the Trojans looking to have the weekend sweep here after a big 5-0 win last night at home for senior night against the Elder Panthers. As the Trojans in their home white uniforms with the scarlet and gray piping, the Alter Knights in their yellow, black, and white outfit. As your officials from the Ohio High School Athletic Association are Lee McClure and Eric Schreiner. Starting netminder for the Trojans, Noah Carver, heads back to his net as the opening face-off at center ice will be Gavin Burris to take the draw. He's got Smith and Francis not on his wing, and we are underway from Hobart Arena. As out to center ice it goes. Finally knocked in by Brady Smith, as they'll force that back inside the zone. Scary incident with Gavin Burris last night in the third period. He took a tumble with his own guy, tangled up with a lower body injury. Kira Dorney, the athletic trainer for Troy High School Athletics, was able to work on Burris this afternoon to the point where he is in the lineup tonight, as that's an offsides. Tagging up are the Alter Knights as the Trojans retreat back inside their own zone. And so it's very good to see Burris back out on the ice, as Francis Knott plays that one out inside Alter territory. Scoop back up, down low by Smith. He'll carry it into the near corner and send it back for Burkhart, who has his pocket picked, and now here come the Knights the other way. Across the Trojan line, stymied out through center ice as Smith scoops it back up. In front of the bench as he goes to wide a drive, and that one's going to be saved and held on to, and wisely so, as the Trojans getting a good breakout attempt right there, but it was stopped by Thomas for the face-off inside the Alter zone. That stopped the clock now with 13:46 to go here, as we have a slight delay as Burris had to adjust some equipment. He's tossed from the draw, and the captain, Cameron Lombardo, comes in to win it back into the near corner. Played off the Dashers, picked off the puck. Wedding's there to help out. Fanned on the first initial shot to Condi. And finally, that one's cleared out to the Trojans line. It goes. Here's a shot. That hits off a skate down low and works its way back at the point, but not out as Riley picks it back up. Takes the hit. Centering pass intended for Schultz is knocked away at the last second and lands for the Alter Knights. Gets it ahead to Mahoney, a drive. That's hit off a skate in front. And the Trojans struggle to get it across the line, but finally do 3 wide. Sexton pumps it back into the near wing corner. Played up the wing for Schultz. Give and go on this breakout attempt. Now Lance across the Trojan line, free of charge with a drive that just sailed wide. Stick side. Rebound off the high glass now to the far point. Dangles past. Riley works it back into the point as that one knocked away and picked up by Lombardo. He's got time, but sends it rink wide. And icing is signaled. And icing is the call now to stop the clock with 12:41 to go here in this first period. Trojans having trouble in their own end. For whatever reason. Of course, the last time these two hockey teams met, it was a very tightly contested game all the way to the last minute of the third period, when it was Alter that picks up the 3-2 decision. Trojans have some vengeance in mind as Smith sends it back into the corner, back up the point. Nobody was there. And so they'll have to retreat it 185 feet the other way back inside their own zone. Here's Berghardt around the short glass. Phillips plays it on the half board, sends it ahead for Mahoney. There's a shot right on, and that one's saved by Noah Carver. A junior netminder picked up the shutout in last night's win against Elder. That a 5-0 decision. And he gets the bulk of the workload here this weekend. Quickly picked up by London, who's sent into the boards. Trojans are able to clear this one with a trailer. Good forecheck by Smith, but the Trojans ruled offsides, and so they'll tag up. Beck back in. Harris fanned on a shot. That would have been a dandy of an opportunity, but Riley picks it up out of his own corner and sends it ahead. Battling with London. He hands it off for Francis Knott. Top of the circle now for Smith. A drive, and that one's saved by Thomas. And that'll stop the clock now with 11:44 to go. And a good opportunity for the Trojans, especially the work there of Ian Francis Knott, who picked up a helper in the Trojans' first goal last night, scored by Carson Smith. We'll take a look at those goals when we come into the intermission, as we'll take a look at highlights from last night's game, as well as a special winter sports update from WTHS's own. We look forward to that. Stick around here in the intermission for that. We'll hear from head coach Rick Szabo, as well as our two seniors, and Sexton with a big hit in front of the benches. Knocks his man out, and he is down on the ice, and that was a good, solid hit, if I've ever seen it right there. And so the trainer, Akira Dorney, is taking a look at the player down on the ice, and while we have a break in the action, we will step aside. This stops the clock with 11:24 to go here in the first period. We'll be back from Hobart after this. And welcome back to Hobart Arena. JT Szabo rejoining you after a scary moment there as one of the alternites went down on a hard hit from Cooper Sexton. Athletic trainer Kira Dorney was down taking a look at him, still working on him off the ice. We'll see if we can get an update later. He was able to get up on his own, which is always a great thing. The contact was a little high. And in front of the benches, you know, there's not that glass there to protect yourself from a big impact like what Sexton put on, and so certainly we hope he's okay as play continues by Conti inside his own zone. Still in the first period, still scoreless, as icing is signaled. Icing is the call with 10:50 to go. And so just like that, the faceoff comes back inside the Trojans' end. No penalty on the play, as it was a clean hit. It just caught that player off guard. As Berghardt controls the draw, back around. One touch from Francis Knott. Here come the Trojans, three wide at the line. Here's Smith, the centering pass, and his own player almost put it in as Berghardt stops it at the point. Sends it back down low into the corner. There's a shot from Smith as that one's just wide again. Turned aside by Trekker as he'll play it around the boards. Back now for Smith, top of the point. Sends it right in, hits off the end boards, off the Zamboni gate, and the Trojans will regroup. Head of pressure here as that one's picked off by the Alternites, and here they come the other way with a drive that just went high. As Augustine's shot just went off the high glass where it's scooped up by the Trojans. Rebound, redirection in front, and finally covered up by Carver, and wisely so, which stopped the clock now with 10:01 to go. And Noah Carver there had the save through a screen too, which was the most impressive part. I'm not sure if he saw the initial shot, as Burris and Lance go off the draw together. This one played back into Conti, who gets tripped up, no call. Played off the boards. Ahead now for the captain, Cameron Lombardo, with a head of steam out through the neutral zone. A shot, and that hits off the side of the net. I got some oohs up in the crowd as Wenning plays it off the side of the cage. He'll work it back down low, into the corner, now to the point for Conti. A shot, bouncing puck knocked away by Augustine, and clears. Back out to Sexton at neutral ice, who pumps it off the boards and right back in as the Trojans will tag up. 9 minutes and 26 seconds to go as playing at the Trojans line. Schultz hit off the puck as they'll work it down low into the corner. Big hit knocks him off the boards. As play continues down low off the shot. Knocked away, and the Trojans are able to escape their own end momentarily. Still not able to get a change as Riley picks it up and skates across the Trojan line. Top of the circle, curled off by Conti, but Riley holds on. Top of the shot, pad save made, rebound saved by Carver! 3 quick shots, point blank range, and the junior netminder gets it done to keep this a scoreless hockey game now with 8 minutes and 43 seconds to go, as teammates come back with a couple stick taps on the pads for the hard work there of Noah Carver. And certainly some highlight reel stuff right there. Right off the draw. Played back down low out of the trapezoid, picked up by Berghardt. At the point and held in. As Ryder's able to keep it in, sends it back down low for Linden, who gets hit off the puck, back to the point, but not out. Francis Knott picks up, now a 2-on-1 the other way, as Smith had it, sends it rink wide. Harris wasn't quite there in time, and so scooping back to get it is Francis Knott on the half boards. Gets it right back down low for Smith, pulls the trigger, impossible angle shot wide, as Campbell plays it back into the corner on this high cycle. Now down low. Francis Knott gets back and clobbered, as it was Harris knocked into the crease, no call. As this one will finally meander its way back out, catching the Knights on a line change. That one's going to be a whistle. And it looks like a too many men on the ice penalty to alter, as the referee trailing the play, Lee McClure, had it the entire way. It's going to be a too many men on the ice penalty with 7:50 to go here in the first period, as someone from the ice is going to have to go into the penalty box for alter. You see McClure right there, going to assess the too many men on the ice penalty. As Linden is going to serve the penalty, as it is a bench minor for the Knights. And so that brings up the first power play of the game, presented by Clopay, America's favorite garage door. Manufactured right here in Troy, Ohio, and proud corporate sponsor of Troy Trojans hockey. And this power play is Lance on the forecheck. Is able to stymie that one right back into the corner for the Knights, as the Trojans will clear out of their own zone. Head of steam now for Smith across the altar line. He'll hold on to it himself before sending it back to the point for Sexton. Waits for it. Maybe a little too much, as that's a give and go down low now for Smith. Hit into the boards. Burris comes back to pick up the loose puck. Sends it back to the point. Cross ice pass to Berghardt. Under pressure, a shot. Glove down by Taylor, and he'll hold on. And just like that, the Trojans' power play coming to life early, still with 1:14 remaining on the man advantage presented by Clopay, as the Knights have the draw inside their own zone. One back by the Trojans cleanly, as Berghardt sends it to Burris from behind the trapezoid, but he can't control as he tangles up with Riley. Stepping in to play is Smith. Back to the point for Sexton on this power play, playing the point. Loses the puck, though, and now here come the Knights shorthanded. All alone on the breakaway, shoots, and Carver makes the save as Mahoney had the opportunity, but was completely stymied. And icing this call against the Trojans. Not exactly what they were hoping to see. On the power play as Sexton was completely robbed at the top of the point, leading to that breakaway that Carver was able to control. And so fresh legs out on the Trojan side, 6:33 to go in the first period, 43 seconds left in this power play. Head coach Rick Zabo not happy with that last shift in any regard, especially after how it started. And quick to make his opinion known as Campbell plays it up the wall. All the way down, icing again signaled. And as it crosses the line, icing is the call to stop the clock again. Trojans struggling to get the breakout going in any meaningful way here in the last maybe 2 or 3 shifts. 6 minutes and 19 seconds to go here in this first period. Still 0-0 if you're just joining us here from Hobart Arena along the banks of the Great Miami River in downtown Troy. Glad to have everybody tuning in tonight on Troy, Ohio TV, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or any combination therein. Also on demand through the Troy, Ohio TV website. So they'll force that one down low into the corner and ahead. Sexton will go back to play it inside his own zone. Stopped behind the net by Carver. He'll work it up the wall, but it's picked off again by Lombardo. Lands a shot. High bouncing puck as Linden steps off the ice. Back to even strength hockey. As the Knights have killed off the first power play of the game. Battling for the puck in front of the benches. Still trying to control as Lance is back to help out, but has his stick lifted by Smith. They'll work it back inside the altered zone and quickly cleared inside Troy territory where Sexton picks it up and it'll skate behind his own net with pressure from Schultz. Right behind him, passing it back to himself. Now a 2-wide situation at the line. He'll dangle into the slot before getting knocked off by Ryder. And the Trojans now back on the defensive. On the boards, scooped up by Schultz. They'll try to clear. Lance on the half boards, tangles up with Harris. Playing it back to the point. Racing in was Condi with a little help from Smith. That's going to clear out to neutral ice as the Trojans will retreat back at their own line. Under 5 minutes to go here in this scoreless first period. Very entertaining hockey here for a Sunday night. As the Trojans send that one in front, and Taylor makes the save. The rebound back up the wall. There's a shot right on. Controlled again by the Knights as Lance gets that one out to center ice, picked back off. And they'll work it across the Trojans line before taking the hit on the half boards and getting it deep down low. There's the wraparound attempt. Carver has it as Mahoney didn't have much mustard on that hot dog to stop the clock now with 4 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Carver was able to see that one all the way. Almost looked like he might try a Michigan. Wrapping it around, but he kept it low on the ice, and probably for the best that he did. 4:17 to go here in this opening period. A very nice-sized Sunday evening crowd here. Again, a very large crowd on hand for Troy's senior night win last night against Elder. And with a win against Alter tonight, the standings could be in jeopardy for Alter, as the Trojans have an opportunity to flip-flop the standings, placing them right behind Beaver Creek in the Swashel, as Alter faced a tough loss last night to Mason at home. The Trojans have 2 wins in hand on the Comets, which would make the standings very interesting, to say the least, if the Trojans are able to pull out the weekend sweep. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, as there's still plenty of hockey to play as that shot right on, saved by Carver. Work back in around Schultz. Phillips keeps it in, sends it back into the corner as it's picked up by Berghardt and around the boards. Played on the wall as Lombardo sends it out now for Burris, out through center ice. Racing for it Can't quite get to the loose puck in time, and so he'll curl off the bench for a change to finish the Trojans line change as the Knights will meander deeper inside their own zone under pressure from Lombardo. Nearly gets it off as Smith can't contain. Alter moves this one ahead out through center ice. Shot knocked away by Mahoney. Lance picks it back up, sends it ahead to the point. There's a shot from Augustine. Schultz tried to get a piece of it but couldn't, and now the Trojans will move this one ahead out through center ice as Lombardo across the line. Snapped shot into the glove of Taylor, and that will stop the clock. Now with 2 minutes and 57 seconds to go. And the face-off will remain inside the Alter zone. Shots on goal 6-8 in favor of the Knights, as Carver getting work early and often here in this first period, as Sexton forced to retreat back at his own line. Offside signaled against the Trojans. They're forced to tag up at the line and finally do as Ryder moves it ahead for the Knights out through center ice and across the Trojans line. There's a shot, paddled away, rebound, loose puck, he scores! Linden picked up the trash from behind the net. Carver made the initial save. And unfortunately, there was a bit of a breakdown there defensively to clear the trailer. And the Trojans, I think, know that. And so it'll be interesting. We'll go downstairs for the official call from Roger Mumpower. 2:33 to go. Alter on top early, 1-0. We'll go downstairs to Roger Mumpower for the official call, but it was the Trojans who let that one just by as they'll play it ahead. Evan Schultz getting credit for the goal for the Alter Knights, as Ryder will get an assist on that goal, making it 1-0. There's a shot. Francis not right there on the doorstep, trying to get something going. And good effort there following the puck all the way to the net. Taylor had it all the way. 1:53 to go here in this first period. Faceoff remain inside the Alter zone. And right off the draw to Berghardt off a skate. That nearly deflected away, as they'll play that one around. Back up to the point for Berghardt. He'll send it back into the corner. Back for Burris. Walks out in front. He hit the post! That's the second time this weekend Gavin Burris hit the post on a shot, and now here come the Knights the other way on an opportunity. Mahoney back into the corner, knocked away by Barnes, and Lombardo can't clear either. Loose puck in the slot, trying to control back into the corner. Mahoney a shot. Glove down by Carver, and a scary sequence right there, as that stops the clock with 1:16 to go here in this first period. And a good glove catch by goaltender Noah Carver. Faceoff remains inside the Trojans' end. On the stick side of Carver, stalemate at the dot. Bouncing puck finally flipped up and caught again by Noah Carver. 10-7 the shots on goal, still favoring the Alter Knights, as the face-off again remains inside the Trojans' end as Gavin Burris will come off the bench to take the face-off, and immediately right back it goes. And so with a 1:08 to go, we'll do this one again. I don't know if it's kind of like in baseball when the pitcher keeps trying to pick off the runner at first. After a while, it's try something different. And they do. Back on the half boards, and a big hit there. Delayed penalty coming. That's going to go against the Trojans, and Campbell is leaving the net there. That's definitely going to be a cross-checking penalty against Campbell for the Trojans. And not the best time to be taking a penalty here with 1:01 to go in the first period. As cross-checking the call, giving the Knights the power play in this Trojans penalty kill brought to you by National Salt Distributors out of Bell Fountain, Ohio, the official salt provider of Troy Trojans hockey, and this penalty kill. And so, referee Eric Schreiner having a conversation with Campbell down at the bench, and knowing Soupy, I'm sure he apologized. Perhaps one of the most well-mannered young men that this hockey program has ever seen. Luke Harris might vie for that role as well. Excellent student athletes in the program this season, especially the young kids coming up, contributing both on and off the ice. You have to mention Will Barnes and all of his off-ice activities as well. And it's definitely a wonderful group of young men and women to be a part of in this program. As another delayed penalty coming. Berghardt had him from behind, and again, that's going to be another penalty against the Trojans, and a little bit of an undisciplined penalty if nothing else. As Berghardt into the box, he had plenty of time to avoid hitting him, and he hit him square from behind, and so now the Trojans will cough up a very important two-man advantage with just 41.3 seconds. And looking over at head coach Rick Szabo, he's just wanting to get this period over with at this point. And so the two-man advantage begins for the Alternites. Mahoney, top of the circle. Sends it rink wide, but a bit too rich for him as Lombardo's back on the far boards. And he'll pick it up back for Gavin Burris, shorthanded, who dumps it deep inside the zone. Played by Taylor out from behind his net as they'll set up the breakout. 5-on-3 hockey for the rest of this period. As Lance at his own line sends that one ahead, picked up by the Trojans. They'll try to flip it out through center ice, but they can't clear, as that one's going to chip up and out of play into the bench now with 3.5 seconds to go in this period. And if you're the Trojans, you want this period to end as quick as possible, as the faceoff remains in the neutral zone. And Riley with one last shot. Not quite enough, as you take a look at what that was. Not exactly what they were hoping for, if nothing else. And so, one period of hockey in the books. We will step aside. When we come back, we'll set up period number 2 as the Trojans, in unfamiliar territory at home this season, trailing at the intermission, trailing Alter 1-0. We'll step aside and be back after this. You're watching Ohio High School Athletic Association Varsity Hockey on Troy, Ohio TV. As we welcome you back live inside the historic Hobart Arena, JT Szabo rejoining you as we get set for period number 2. Both teams have switched ends and we are underway as the Trojans now going from left to right on your screen in their home white uniforms start this period shorthanded by 2 for another 45 seconds as part of this two-man power play for the Alternites. And the penalty kill presented by National Salt Distributors from Bell Fountain, Ohio. As the Trojans able to ice this one all the way down free of charge. And they do under pressure on this forecheck. That'll give the Knights an opportunity to set it up from behind their own net. There's the centering pass now ahead for Ryder, and out to center it goes. Across the Trojans line, Ryder, backhand. Linden wasn't there in time, and so that one gets it back into the corner, and the Trojans short-handed breakout now across the line. Burris pumps it deep into the corner as Riley back to chase it out of his own zone. Campbell finally out of the penalty box as that centering pass picked up. 10 seconds remaining on the second penalty to Berghardt, and the Trojans will have killed off this two-man advantage successfully. And they do. As time expires, Berghardt back on the ice. Stretch pass and ahead for Mahoney across the Trojans line. He'll dance it back into the trapezoid from behind the net as Campbell gets right in there. Now ahead for Schultz, sends it back to the point for Riley. Top of the circle, sends it rink wide. Back for Ryder, top of the circle, a drive, and that hit a stick out in front and knocked away just wide. Rebound back into the near corner, ahead for Schultz. One-time shot, wide, low. Back stick side, and up the boards. Smith is there. He'll hold on to it in his feet. Finally carries it ahead, and a big hit right there as Sexton knocks Schultz off. The Alter Knights wanted a penalty for that one. They're not going to get it, as the Trojans finishing their checks early and often in this hockey game. And in front of the benches, that's going to be knocked out of play to stop the clock now with 12:49 to go. And the face-off will result with a draw in the neutral zone as referee Lee McClure having a chat with the Alter bench, potentially on that hit to Schultz. But it was a square hit, and I'm sure that's what the referee is discussing with him as we have an even strength face-off. And the Trojans win the draw as Burris sends it back around out for Conde. Stretch pass for Lombardo across the Alter line. He'll dump it deep into the corner. Played ahead by Wenning. Lance knocks him off the puck as they'll work it deep low into the corner again. Here's Eli Wenning. Scooped up out from behind the net by Riley. He'll send it rink wide, back on the half boards now to Lance on this breakout attempt for the Knights. And across the line it goes. Picked up by the Trojans. As Lombardo stick checked off the puck from behind his own net. Mahoney at the point, struggling against the Dashers. Can't quite get it back in as it's picked up by Gavin Burris. Dances around one check, stays on side, holds onto it again. What a beautiful play as Burris is shot high. Rebound scooped up by Lombardo. Back to the point now for Conde. Walks in, shot low on the ice, is poked away. And a good effort there by the netminder as the Knights back the other way. Gets it back to the point. Riley couldn't control. Sends it rink wide. Back at the point. As Ferguson is able to get it deep. And again on the half boards. Scooped up off the short glass. Trojans trying to clear. And finally do as Burris sends that one rink wide. Back in from Lombardo. Hard shot. Knocked away. And Russell will hold on to it to stop the clock now with 11:17 to go. With the draw remaining inside the alternate zone. Back into the corner. Trojans set this one up behind the net. Loose puck in front, and Smith couldn't quite get a hold of it. But he'll pick up the trailer, and a loose puck makes its way back into the corner. Around the Dashers ahead for Campbell. Couldn't contain at the line, and so this one forced back to Smith, who meanders his way deeper inside his own zone, and on the breakout attempt left wing side, drops it back for Sexton. Give and go. Right back ahead for Harris at the red stripe and across the Alter line 3 wide. Forcing it on the side of the cage. Smith nearly got a piece of it, but not enough. As Schultz plays it back into the near corner, where it's picked up by Ferguson. Stripped away again by Harris, and a bouncing puck just across the blue paint. Campbell now on this side, sends it rink wide. Sexton picks it up, far side point. Holds onto it, pulls the trigger, rebound, shot, save made, scores! It's a tie game! And this place is absolutely electric. The third shot was what it took. 10-16 to go, a tie hockey game. And you could just hear and feel this building come alive. And so we'll go downstairs for the official word from Roger Mumpower, but it is a tie hockey game now, as play continues inside the Alter zone. That gives it a little different feel now, doesn't it? Harris is going to get credit for the goal. Smith and Ian Francis not both getting assists on that. They all took turns taking shots, and so we weren't quite sure who was going to get credit for the goal. It's Luke Harris, the freshman. Certainly making the most of his ice time tonight, as here comes Brady Smith the other way. Tripped off the puck, but no call, as they'll work deep into the corner. Physical battle out of the trapezoid. Digging for it down low was Lombardo. With a little help, that'll get it back to the point for Condi, who fires it in. Linden couldn't contain. They'll work it back. Now at the point, sidesteps Condi, and out to center it goes. 1-1 hockey game if you're just joining us, thanks to Luke Harris's tying goal. And what a dandy it was. That was just a greasy, lunch pail, hard-working goal if I've ever seen it. But here come the Knights the other way. Linden poked off the puck as the Trojans can't clear their own end. On the far side, loose puck through a screen as Mahoney tried to tip it past Carver. Rebound, Carver has it, and he will not let go to stop the clock now with 8 minutes and 44 seconds to go here in this second period. Fresh legs on the ice for both hockey clubs as the faceoff remains inside the Trojans' end. 1-1 hockey game between two fierce rivals in the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League. Trojans trying to make the weekend sweep here with a win against Alter. As here's Burris, a drive, and that one got a piece of it off the high glass. The rebound kicks out in the slot again. Looked like it got a piece of Russell's shoulder as the loose puck makes its way out to center ice. There's Lang back inside the Trojans' end. He'll work it into the corner and takes a big hit as the loose puck scooped up by Riley. A drive, loose puck, side of the cage. Carver tried to see where it was, closed up shop, wraparound attempt knocked away, and finally picked up by Eli Wenning. And he's able to force that one ahead and give chase. Inside the Alter zone, here's Wenning. And he's going to hold on to stop the clock now with 7 minutes and 48 seconds to go. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle there. And again, we talked about how the Trojans picked up a big win at home last night against Elder. It was the opposite story for Alter last night, as they suffered a tough loss to Mason in league play, and that sets up a very interesting dynamic in the standings if the Trojans can indeed get a game in to the win column against the Knights. Here's Harris on the breakaway. Luke Harris tripped up from behind, no call. And this crowd is absolutely livid, letting the referees know exactly what they think of it. We saw a penalty shot last night for the Trojans. And I think a lot of fans in attendance tonight thought we should have got one just now too, as that backhander knocked away. Play continues. Back inside the Trojans' end, stopped by Carver. And he will elect to hold on, stopping the clock now with 7:06 to go here in this second period. And so the officials discussing there, well, maybe that could have been a penalty shot, but maybe not. I'm sure the argument could be justifiably so that he wasn't fouled from behind. As Wenning finally, as he's sliding across the ice, is able to get that one out to center. Where it's scooped up by Linden in front of the bench, back for Wenning. Trojans stay onside, but just barely. As the Knights back on the far wing. Get that one out ahead. Here's Schultz, a high shot, bouncing just wide of Carver. That took kind of a funny bounce. So now here come the Trojans the other way. There's a shot, and Russell makes the save. And so that'll stop the clock now with 6 minutes and 26 seconds to go here in the second period. What has been a very enjoyable Sunday evening of hockey from the banks of the Great Miami River here in downtown Troy. And we're certainly glad to have you along for the ride, whether live or on demand, here on Troy, Ohio TV, as Sexton controls the drive for the Trojans and forces that one right back into the corner. Off the end boards and around. Right back for Francis, not as that centering feed, picked up by Riley and sent ahead now for London. But a good effort there by Ian to back check and get that puck right back inside the altar zone. Even strength hockey. As the Knights finally clear their own zone. 3 wide at the Trojan line. They'll work that one down low for Linden. Sidestepping the hit from Harris. That one's scooped up by Sexton and around the boards now to the near wing. As here comes Brady Smith the other way with a head of steam. Here's Smith. The shot draws the penalty. And if they didn't get it the first time, they're definitely going to get it now, as it's going to be a hooking call, as the referee, Eric Schreiner, saw it the entire way. And so the Trojans getting the benefit of a power play here with 5 minutes and 36 seconds to go. And so it's Mahoney in the box for hooking. And the Knights are going to take time out. And so we have timeout on the ice as both teams are at their receptive benches. A 1-1 hockey game at this point, as the Trojans applying appropriate pressure here. A 2-minute minor is up on the board, like we said, for Mahoney. As you see both teams right there. Coming up in the intermission, don't forget we will have a recap of last night's action. All 5 goals for the Trojans. We'll replay those for you, as well as a special winter sports update courtesy of WTHS, as Elise Hemker was on scene this week with the Trojans. And so we'll have that report for you as well coming up here in the second intermission. So you will not want to go away, as there's still plenty of hockey to play here in the second period. 5:36 to go. And the faceoff will remain inside the altar zone. Won cleanly by the Trojans. Back to the point for Burkhart. Forcing it back at the point. Here's Lombardo, a shot. Loose puck kicked out. And the rebound knocked away. Back on the bouncing puck. Here's Gavin Burris into the near wing corner. He'll send it back to the point now for Sexton. Sends it across. Here's the shot. Loose puck off that hard kick bounce. Finally knocked away back into the near corner. This power play brought to you by Skyline of Troy. Hey, Trojans fans, it's Skyline time. As there's the shot right on, played by Russell. He mishandled that one and the bouncing puck up into the air. Played back up at the line. Sexton couldn't contain, and so the Trojans will regroup. Hit offsides, and offsides was the play as a pretty lackadaisical effort getting out of the zone with 4 minutes and 44 seconds here to go in the second period. And so offsides ruled against the Trojans. 1 minute and 8 seconds to go. And they're going to rule it was an offsides pass, so the faceoff comes out to center ice. And so that's the reason why it's at center instead of the neutral zone faceoff dot we normally see offsides at, because it was considered a completed pass offsides. And so play continues out of the Trojans' end. Big head of steam is Brady Smith. Here he is all alone. Backhander, save made. Russell, loose puck on the side of the cage, knocked away, as he'll pick up the rebound back for Lombardo. Into the corner. Low cycle, down low now for Burris. Sends it back to the point for Smith. Here's Smith, top of the circle, a drive. Loose puck, Lombardo had all day, but he couldn't get the puck to settle on his stick in time. And so he slaps that one back in the slot. Burkhart a shot wide right, back for Burris into the right wing corner. Oh my, quite the action. Here's another big pad save, kicks out. Near side, half boards. Sexton keeps it in, right back for Lombardo, who forces it deep on this low cycle down low. Give and go back. Lombardo tried to pick the corner. Pad save made. Right back out of the trapezoid as he blows a tire. That's picked up by Riley, and he's able to ice it wisely. The length of the ice as Carver comes out of his net to play it. And they're going to hold on. Out from behind the net on this breakout attempt. Sends it rink wide, back out through neutral ice. Played by Mahoney. He's able to chip that one right back in. 3 minutes and 23 seconds as we return to full-strength hockey. As the Knights able to kill off their penalty. Here comes Sexton across the line. Onside. Shot. Hit the post again! Oh, my! That is the second time tonight we've seen that, as Gavin Burris hit the iron as well earlier in the first. The Trojans may need to do some target practice during the week, as the shot from the neutral zone right on, turned aside by Russell. That'll force it back out from behind the net. Picked up by Eli Wenning. One-timer back for Burris. He scores! Gavin Burris! A little bit of injury isn't going to keep him down, as Gavin Burris scores the go-ahead goal to make this a 2-1 hockey game with 2 minutes and 43 seconds. The senior comes up big. A 2-1 hockey game. We'll go downstairs for the official word from Roger Mumpower, but Gavin Burris, a spectacular highlight reel goal, is the go-ahead goal at this point, as they'll work it down low into the near wing corner. Played back to the point for Condi. That was a hard pass, but he's able to control and keep it onside as he gets it back for Harris, who has the other Trojan goal. As Burris announced by Roger Mumpower, this one will squeak out to center ice. Wenning is going to get credit, as well as Lombardo, for helpers on that one. As Smith picks it up at the line, now too wide. Stick checked off the puck by Russell. That one will get back ahead for Burkhart and chip back inside the zone. What an interesting statistic, if nothing else, that both Trojan goals are scored Well, one is by a freshman and the other is by a senior. And so all classes contributing tonight for the Trojans. And that is certainly something good to see as that backhander by Harris, pad saved away, back into the corner. He takes a tumble, loses his edge, goes back into the corner. As this one held on by Berghardt. Low shot, bouncing puck off the end boards. That's picked up off the side of the cage. Russell came out to stick check it, but he couldn't. And so the Trojans stymied at the line off this bouncing puck, who makes it all the way down inside their own zone under pressure from Schultz. Now ahead for Lombardo, ahead for Francis Knott. No icing is called as that was tipped out through center ice. 1 minute now to go here in the second period. As fast and furious hockey finishing off this second stanza. As now here come the Knights the other way. 3 wide at the Trojan line. Posts it up. Rebound! Couldn't get it in time as Carver goes post to post. They'll work it back at the point, and the Trojans mercifully able to clear as the icing is going to be waved off as Riley scoops it up in front of his own goal line. Trojans getting caught on a line change, but the Knights now icing the other way. And an interesting, fortunate change of fortunes there, as just as the Trojans were about to get caught on an icing, it's the Knights that, I believe the kids say, done goof. And indeed that's what it was. And so the faceoff comes back inside the altar zone with 28.4 seconds on the big board above center ice. And the faceoff controlled by the Trojans, back to the point for Lombardo. He's got his big brother Caden cheering him on just behind him on the glass as they continue to play. Back at the point. That shot wide. Rebound. Scooped up by Campbell, a shot, and Russell was able to hold on. And that'll stop the clock now with just 7 seconds to go. And don't forget, coming up in the intermission, we will recap last night's big win against Elder, as well as have a special winner interview segment by WTHS's own Elise Hemker as the battle on the slot knocks it away. Campbell just a split second too late as the horn had already gone. And a tough break there for Soupy. But a great effort there overall here in this hockey game as the Trojans are going to skate into the dressing room, flip-flopped from where they were during the first intermission, as now they lead the Alternites 2-1 after 30 minutes of hockey. Like we said, we've got a lot coming up here in the intermission. We'll step aside, we'll clear some breaks, and we'll also watch a little chuck-a-puck down low. Stay with us, as there's a lot more hockey coming as you're watching Troy Trojans varsity hockey on Troy, Ohio TV. Welcome back inside historic Hobart Arena. JT Zambo rejoining you during the second intermission. The Trojans battling back there in that second period and were able to capitalize on a very important goal to make it a 2-1 hockey game after 2 periods. Well, we promised you we were going to take a look at last night's hockey game. It was a big 5-0 win for the Trojans, and it was capped off by a lot of different excellent goals. So let's take a look at all 5 of the goals that we saw last night, starting with this one. It's going to be scooped up down low by Hovath for the Panthers, and back inside the zone, shoots and scores! Campbell tries to get it ahead. Burris is able to scoop it ahead. Here's Gavin Burris with a backhand feed, shoots! And scores! Hockey has a big head of steam now for Smith. Cuts it back, shoots and scores! Brady Smith! Here comes the Trojans the other way. Barnes shoots and scores! Lombardo, but it's scooped up now by the Panthers as Emmett losing the puck at the line. Right back for Lombardo, sends it rink wide for Burris in between the circles, shoots! He hit the post! Rebound, scores! And that was the game last night as we welcome you back live inside Hobart Arena. At the end of 2 periods, it is Alter 1, the Troy Trojans 2. Thanks to very talented performances. And what we mentioned during that second period was that both goals tonight scored by opposing classes. Luke Harris got on the board first in the first period to make it the Trojans' first goal as a freshman. And in the second period, the go-ahead goal scored by senior Gavin Burris. So there's definitely a lot of contribution across all 4 classes on this hockey team. And you certainly want to see that as the program develops. So that's where we're at. We're in the second intermission. Currently, it's a 2-1 Trojans lead. And now we have a special presentation of WTHS broadcast media from Troy High School. We'll send it back to Troy High School now with Elise Hemker with a special report.
But certainly not least, hockey. Our hockey team has had a very successful season so far, with a record of 10-2.
Now I'm here with hockey coach, Coach Saba. Coach, how would you say the season's going so far?
Well, so far, we're kind of hitting the marks we wanted to hit. We expected to improve a little bit every year over the last 3 or 4 years, and the kids are really working hard. Our numbers are up this year. We've been able to grow with a lot of freshmen, which helps the team as it goes down the road. We got a big weekend coming up. We got Elder at home here, and then we play Alter. And Alter is kind of like a nemesis of ours, so hopefully we can get them. And Alter and Beaver Creek are right now the 2 teams ahead of us in the standings, so it's a big weekend for them.
As Coach Saba said, they've had a pretty successful season, and with it finally winding down with senior night tomorrow, January 7th at Hobart Arena, I was able to sit down with their 2 seniors, Gavin Burris and Cameron Lombardo.
I'm Cameron Lombardo. I play left wing. I've been playing for about, I want to say 11 years now.
Gavin Burris, center, probably about like 9 years maybe.
All right, and what's your favorite hockey memory?
Favorite hockey memory, probably like freshman year. Probably just playing with like 9 kids. We didn't have a lot of people. We were all super close. Just missed a couple of my buds from there.
My favorite memory would probably be winning the championship in my last year before high school.
And what are your feelings going into senior night?
I'm actually kind of scared. It's just I've been watching everybody else do it, and you miss the guys that leave, and it sucks to leave, but it's kind of exciting too.
A little bit of mixed emotions. I love hockey, but I've been playing it for a long time. I'm excited.
What are you going to miss the most?
Probably just the road trips, just talking to the buddies on the bus. It's been fun.
Just the bond that everybody has together. It's like a family out here, and it's gonna be tough to say goodbye.
If you haven't made it to a hockey game yet this season, it's not too late. They still have 3 more home games other than tomorrow. One on Sunday versus Alter, one January 22nd versus Findlay, and one February 5th versus Beaver Creek. If you haven't been, I highly recommend you go. The games are super fun and the team would love your support. Well, that's all I got for you today, Trojans. A huge thank you to all of the winter sports teams for helping me put this video together. I promise I'll be back on my Sports Corner game in the next coming weeks. Have a great weekend, and as always, go Trojans.
And we welcome you back live inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy as we get set for period number 3 between the Trojans and the Altar Knights. As the Trojans holding on to that big 2-1 lead as we are underway here in the third period. As the Trojans again in their home white uniforms with the scarlet and gray piping, skating from right to left on your screen as play continues on the half boards, and now here come the Knights the other way. Big head of steam across the Trojan line as a shot from Lance just high and above Carver as the bouncing puck on the half board's left wing side. Finally swatted free back out to neutral ice as the Knights retreating on the clean sheet of ice. Laid back inside the Trojans' end. There's a shot knocked away at the last second as the bouncing puck clears now on the near side. Back out to neutral ice. Approaching the 1 minute mark here. Gone in the third period as the Trojans racing out through center. Here's Brady Smith, a shot, and that one's going to be held on to by Russell to stop the clock. Now with 14:02 to go here. In this third period, the Trojans holding on to that 2-1 lead thanks to the goals scored by Luke Harris in the first and Gavin Burris in the second. As the faceoff inside the Altar zone, finally won by the Knights as it's picked up by Schultz, and out to center it goes as Sexton scoops it up at his own line and sends it ahead. Phillips played it out. Still out at center ice as Condi looks for it. Finally picks it up back inside the Trojans' end as offsides waved off against the Altar Knights as Burris cross-check from behind as he slid into the ice, and now here's a 2-on-1 the other way for the Knights. As that shot wide, back for Gavin Burris. Chipped it ahead, now a breakaway the other way for Wenning as he will slide into the Dashers hard. Wade works it out back to the point. There's the shot from Sexton. At the point is Condi. He'll keep it in. As Burris at the tail end of his shift works that one back to the point. Picked back up, catching the Trojans on a line change. Careful not to get another too many men on the ice penalty as the Knights did, as there's a centering pass. Saved by Carver. As Schultz was knocked off the puck completely, Carver stretched it out and was able to make the save as icing signaled. And icing the call, as you see Noah Carver right there, was able to make the save. As the icing will force the faceoff back inside the Trojans' end in a very nail-biting sequence there, as the goaltender was forced to make a stretched-out save to keep this a Troy lead, 2-1. As Luke Harris finally chips it ahead, gets it ahead out to Smith. There's Brady Smith, works it ahead as that centering pass picked up by the Knights. They'll force it off the high glass where it's picked up by Francis Knott, and he'll chip it quickly into the near wing corner and played around. Scooped up again, this time by the Knights as they'll work it all the way down to Carver, who wisely covers up and gets a whistle now with 12:13 to go here in the second period. And a very end-to-end start to this third period as both teams picking up right where they left off in the second. And the face-off will remain inside the Trojans' end, stick side of Carver. There's the shot, blocker pad save, loose puck, bounced away and knocked 185 feet the other way as icing signaled. And good effort there by Berghardt to see that the rebound was going to kick out to him and quickly make that impact play to clear the zone. Despite the icing, still quite the relief valve for the Trojans. And helping out their netminder more than anything at this point, as Lombardo picks up the draw, won by Burris, and around the boards now for Wenning to the far corner. As Gavin Burris just pokes it in across the line, Wenning scoops it back up out through center. This one meanders its way in front of Russell, who comes out of his net to play it ahead, and The Knights across the Trojans line are going to be called offsides as the referee was right there to make the call, stopping the clock now with 11:40 to go. And it looks like the faceoff is going to remain in the neutral zone opposite of the Trojans bench. 11:40 to go in regulation. As the Knights finish their line change, Ferguson back for Schultz, and the Knights are able to get that inside the Trojans' end, but a delayed penalty from way behind the play is going to go against Gavin Burris, who is not happy with the call in any regard whatsoever. 11:33 to go. Referee Lee McClure makes a tripping call against Gavin Burris. And so the faceoff is going to stay inside the Trojans' end, and they're back on the penalty kill. Brought to you by ConAgra of Troy, proud manufacturers of the Slim Jim, proudly made right here in Troy, Ohio. And I would happily spare you my best Macho Man Randy Savage impression, as this one side of the cage is finally knocked away. Loose puck hit the post. That might have hit both the short side post and the crossbar, as a big bounce makes its way all the way deep inside Alter territory, and we have seen quite a few shots ring off the iron this weekend, as it's going to make its way all the way to Sexton at his own blue line before he quickly fires it right back in on this penalty kill. 10:41 and counting. 1 minute and 3 seconds left on that penalty to Gavin Burris, as the Knights try to break it out of their own end. Up the wing, out to center, now for London at his own line. He's able to chip it deep inside the Trojans' end into the corner. Or Troy, clear but not out as Riley holds it in and walks into the point, sends it rink wide for Mahoney, scores! And that the tying goal. Coming with 10:17 remaining in the third period. And the faceoff as the Knights are able to bounce back and tie this hockey game. Burris wins the draw back to Conti in his own zone. At the Alter line. That a power play goal. We'll go downstairs for the official word from Roger Mumpower momentarily as Lombardo knocked off the puck. Schultz is going to get credit for the goal as Lance's shot goes wide. A power play goal by Schultz makes it a tie hockey game as the Trojans cannot clear. Back at the point, gobbled up, loose puck, finally knocked away, and the players come together there at the end. Schultz was all over Carver. And so the players come together there at the end. And the faceoff is going to stay inside the Trojans' end. And right off the draw, this one picked up by Sexton. Backing around the corner and ahead the wing for Lombardo. Finally clear out to center, but picked up by Ryder. It's finally knocked away. Trojans trying to get some offensive going. And here's Lanza's shot. That one hit off the stick of Carver. Rebound off the loose puck. He's able to hold on. And players again coming together after the whistle. With 9 minutes and 4 seconds to go here in regulation. A timeout on the ice. And so timeout on the ice as the Trojans coaching staff taking a real close look at what the Trojans have been struggling with offensively here in the last about 3 minutes of clock time. And so head coach Rick Szabo having a real concerted chat with his team down on the bench, as you see that, as well as the alternates. And of course the Trojans still have plenty of hockey left to play, as they'll be back at home on Sunday, January 22nd. That also a 5:45 p.m. face-off against the Findlay Trojans. And that is a Trojan-on-Trojan rumble. That's also Youth Hockey Night, and tickets are available at TrojanHockey.com. Well, both teams have had an opportunity to figure out what their game plan is moving forward. 9:04 to go here in the third period, and the face-off is going to stay inside the Trojans' end. And so off the draw, that one won by the Trojans, and now here comes Luke Harris with a good opportunity. Back down low into the corner. Now for Smith, a shot, glove down by Russell, and he will hold on, and whatever head coach Rick Szabo told him down at the bench, it must have sunk in to Luke Harris, as he was able to meander out of the zone pretty easily. As Sexton picks up the shot from the draw, and there's a waffle board save made by Russell back into the near wing corner. Played around the Dashers. Working that one ahead at the half board. Still against the Dashers. Francis Knott had it in his skates and gets knocked off the puck as they'll work it down low into the corner for Schultz. Kept in by the Trojans. Top of the slot. As Francis Knott comes away with it, back for Harris, now for Smith, kicked away, loose puck out in front! He had the opportunity as the Trojans turn and fire just off the side of the cage. And a close call right there for the Trojans as the Knights try to clear but cannot. Back on the side and a shot. This one held in by Sexton at the point. Finally turned around and fired by Schultz as they'll get it out to center ice. Lance is chasing, and the Trojans are able to clear it deep inside the zone. 7 minutes and 52 seconds, and you're starting to get the feeling that there's some pressure here between these two hockey teams as offsides will be ruled against the Trojans. This third period almost taking on a bit of a playoff-like feel, and you can feel the urgency on the ice between these two hockey teams. 7:46 to go here in the third period. The faceoff is going to stay in the neutral zone. And Gavin Burris, opposite of Phillips, and Burris wins it cleanly all the way down, but a cherry picker emerges inside the Trojans' end, almost like a set play, as Carver covers up for the save. And that gets us a stoppage now with 7 minutes and 34 seconds to go. And the faceoff will stay inside the Trojans' end. And off the draw, picked up by Conde on the boards. Burris chips it off the wall, and out he goes. Across the line, here's Gavin Burris. That bounce pass, knocked away. Conde with a good effort there, knocks it back inside the Trojans' end. Even strength hockey. Shots on goal at this point, 27-24 in favor of the Trojans, as they were trailing in shots through the first 30 minutes of hockey. Have bounced back since then as icing ruled against the Trojans to stop the clock now with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go in regulation. In this 2-2 hockey game, a battle between two fierce rivals here. Nothing better on a Sunday evening, as the Trojans will pick this one off the boards and ahead. Icing waved off as it makes its way inside the altar zone. Around the boards to the near side. Held in at the line by Conde. Tries to get it ahead for Harris. Wasn't to be, and so they'll stymie at the line, and Francis Knott gives chase. Here's Ian Francis Knott. He's got Harris on his wing, but picks up Smith. Rebound! And now the players come together As Smith got a good whack in on it. And the faceoff looks like it's going to stay inside the altar zone. With Brady Smith having a quality scoring opportunity there, he'll take the faceoff. As that one works its way back to Ian Francis Knott, who gives it up for Conti coming in. Bouncing puck, and Russell makes the save. And that one might have been deflected in front, I'm not quite sure. Looked like it could have hit off a stick just in front of the crease. But Russell was able to contain, and the faceoff stays inside the altar zone. Back to Berghardt, and a slotted drive! And that one gloved down. As Russell saw that one the whole way. 6 minutes and 28 seconds to go here in regulation. And there's not a single person that has left this game early as they give the opportunity for the Trojans to get a last change. As head coach Rick Szabo using every trick in the book to give his players a bit of a rest. As Gavin Burris will swoop in to take the faceoff. And that one's one right back to Conti. Give and go to Lombardo on the half boards near wing side. Hits off a stick in front though. And icing signaled as Carver comes out of his net to play it. Icing will go against the Altar Knights now with 6 minutes and 16 seconds to go. As you see Noah Carver right there. Face-off will be inside the Altar zone. And that one's taken and one back to the point. Around for Wenning. Big hit up the boards. On the half wall. Here's Campbell a drive as that one wide of the net and around the boards. Held in by Sexton on his backhand feed for the captain Cam Lombardo as it's chipped up and out of play. That'll be a whistle. And another souvenir puck with under 6 minutes now to go here in the third period. Faceoff is going to come out to neutral zone as the Trojans were the last one to touch it. And Burris still out on the ice to take the faceoff. And wins it back now for Sexton, who pumps it quickly inside the Altar zone. Battling for it on the half boards. Here's Cam Lombardo up the wing now for Sexton. Big hit there, knocks Schultz off the puck as he'll get it down low into the corner on this low cycle. Here's Burris, a shot, stopped by Russell, rebound back into the right wing corner. Played up the wing now for Sexton, a shot, tipped away, and that didn't miss by much into the corner as Campbell a drive, wide right. Rebound as the Trojans certainly getting plenty of shot opportunities, but not too many on net. Something the Trojans have really struggled with all weekend, basically, as the Knights are able to clear the length of the ice. And icing is waved off as Campbell gets there first before it crosses the line. Sets up Lombardo, but that was a bit too rich for him. Forces back out at center ice. Icing signaled. Icing waved off again. This time as Berghardt picks it up from behind his net. He'll leave it off for Sexton in the corner on the near side. And he'll skate with it. Out to center. Across the red stripe. Here's Sexton. Carrying it in himself into the far corner. Centering pass. Francis Knott couldn't get there in time, but Sexton can. Shot. Rebound. It's finally going to knock its way out to center. And out through neutral ice. They'll battle for it down low. Just inside the zone. Knights now 3-on-2 the other way. There's a shot wide of Carver. He sprawled out to get it. As they'll play it on the half board. Centering pass knocked away. Scooped up by Francis Knott. Now here comes the Trojans on a breakout. Across the line it goes. Delayed penalty coming. Carver leaves the net. Just as the whistle blows, the Trojans will be on the business end of a power play here now with 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the third. As the Knights captain Riley in the box. A hooking penalty will put the Trojans on a very important power play. Perhaps the most important power play of the season thus far. Now with 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go as Burris initially won the draw, but they're going to say it was a stalemate. And so we're going to do this one again. I'm not quite sure what that was for. And so they did it again, and the Trojans win the faceoff. And on the power play, brought to you by Clopay. Here's Burkhart, top of the slot, shoots, and Russell makes the save. And he will hold on. 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the third period. And the faceoff remains inside the Alter zone. Trojans on the power play, and they'll win the draw again back to Burkhart. He'll throw it around the corner. He wasn't ready for a shot as Smith hit off the puck down low into the corner. Knights are able to ice it down inside the Trojans' end. Minute 28 to go on the Trojans' power play as this stretch pass now for Lombardo and out to center. He gives it away out through neutral ice, though, and the bouncing puck will clear all the way down inside Troy territory as Burkhart wraps it up the boards. Scooped up by Sexton on this breakout pass out to center. No icing call as it was tipped up at the red line. They'll work it down low into the corner, but not out as it's cleared all the way back down. Carver goes back to play it out of his own net. Leaves it off for Sexton on this breakout attempt. Sends it out to center. Here's Gavin Burris with a head of steam out through neutral ice. He gets his pocket picked, though. And the puck iced all the way back down as Carver goes back to play it. Leaves it off. Knights will get a change. 2:40 to go here in regulation. Trojans still on the power play, though, as they'll work it across the line. Here's Sexton. Trojans change line. 29 seconds and counting on the Trojans power play as Sexton being worked over hard in the corner. Finally works that one free. And again, thrown back to the point. Controlling. There's Mahoney, and he's able to clear. All the way down, icing signaled but waved off as the Knights return to full strength. Riley out on the ice, loose puck, played by Carver, redirected, and he'll hold on. As they took a couple whacks on the short side, now under 2 minutes to go here in regulation in this 2-2 hockey game. And they're going to give the faceoff inside the Trojans' end. On the glove side of Noah Carver. And off the draw, this one won. Back to Mahoney for the Knights. Tries a bouncing puck. Somehow missed the net completely, although it wouldn't have counted. It was hit with a high stick, but scary moment nonetheless as the rebound knocked away. Schultz is hit off the puck. Loose puck. Back into the near wing corner. Trojans work it up to the point, but not out as Ferguson keeps it in and sends it right back to the near point. 1:29 to go as the Trojans ice this one all the way down, icing the call. And some pushing and shoving after the whistle. As icing signaled will bring the faceoff back inside the Trojans' end on the glove side of Carver. Just 1:22 to go here in this nail-biting third period between these two hockey teams. A big rivalry game, and we have been treated to nothing less than spectacular. As they'll work it free. Now here come the Trojans, 2-on-1 the other way. Here's Smith, a drive. Paddle boarded away as Harris low on the ice. Loose puck bouncing away. Now for Smith, a drive, bouncing just wide. And a close call right there, back to Sexton. Held on at the point. Now for Harris, a drive, wide off his stick, down low into the corner. 1 minute in counting here in regulation as they'll work it out. Forcing it inside Trojan territory. Here's Sexton out from behind his own net. 40 seconds in counting. As they'll work it rink wide now for Smith. Smith across the line, and that one's going to be held on to by Russell, and wisely so. 29.7 seconds to go. And the faceoff is going to stay inside the altar zone. Gavin Burris will take the draw. Wins it back to the point for Condi, but he couldn't control. And so they'll regroup back into the corner. Centering pass. Knocked away and picked up by the Knights. Out through center. Forcing it back inside the Trojans' end. 14 seconds and counting as Smith holds onto it. Still playing it around. He'll knock it around. 8 seconds to go. As Lombardo with the puck. Hits it off the boards, and that'll do it for regulation. 3 periods of hockey in the books. And so we are going to go to overtime for the first time this season at home. The Trojans will go into the extra frame. A 2-2 hockey game we have been treated to. A very end-to-end affair, if nothing else. As both teams having a chance to collect their thoughts. As not a lot of people have left this building yet. As this game going into overtime. Shots on goal through regulation. 34-26. The Trojans ended up coming out on top. And so as we get set, the teams having an opportunity. Looks like we've seen a lot of things this weekend. As the Trojans had the penalty shot last night as Brady Smith got the first penalty shot of the season at home. Unfortunately, wasn't able to cash in on it, and now we have the first overtime game. And so as we get ready to go, overtime hockey for the first time this season. The Trojans 3-on-3, and we are off. Back inside the zone, it'll be a 5-minute sudden death overtime period. Playing 3-on-3 just like the National Hockey League. And on this opportunity here, Sexton out on the ice. He'll work it inside the zone, and a big hit right there. Trojans wanted a penalty on that hit by Ryder against Sexton, but they're not going to get it. As it appears the officials have put the whistle away on this one. As here's a 2-on-1 back the other way. Ryder with the puck. Shoots! Rebound near side. Knocked away at the last second. Good save there by the Trojans. As the bouncing puck right back to Mahoney. He'll knock it loose. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go as Ryder gets up high on Sexton. Those two seem to have a little bit of trouble staying amicable between each other. As with under 4 minutes now to go in sudden death overtime, the Trojans will get a line change. Again, they're playing 3-on-3, so you have an added dynamic right there. As behind the net is Gavin Burris, going out in front of the net, a dangerous play under pressure, but he's able to carry it out to center. Now a 2-on-2 across the line. Gavin Burris, a drive! As that one's going to be stopped and held on to with 3:34 to go. And so the faceoff will stay inside the altar zone as Lombardo will swoop in to take the draw. And one back to Berghardt, who throws it deep into the corner. And again, playing aside. They'll work it ahead now for Schultz out to center ice. Burkhart going back to chase it inside his own zone, battling for it down low into the corner. Under 3 minutes left in overtime. Sudden death between the Alternites and the Troy Trojans. Icing signaled, but racing for it is Lombardo. He'll get it, walks in, shoots, he scores! Cam Lombardo wins it in overtime! Call him Captain Clutch! In over 25 seasons of Troy Trojans hockey, that might be the best end to a hockey game there has ever been in the history of Troy High School. And it was just scored by the captain himself, Cameron Lombardo.
A goal for the Trojans, number 15, Cam Lombardo.
Colin Burkhart is going to earn credit for the assist on the eventual game-winning goal scored by the captain, Cam Lombardo. An absolutely incredible finish to an incredible hockey game as the Trojans pick up their first win of the season against the Alternites, and you could not have scripted it any better. A sudden death overtime winner. The goal coming with 2:14 to go in the extra period, scored by the captain, senior Cameron Lombardo. And I'll tell you what a better way to celebrate the senior night weekend than one of the seniors picking up the game winner as he's downstairs getting congratulated by a number of fans in the student section. Absolutely went nuts in section 29. And that right there is how legends are made in the halls of Troy High School, as they will forever remember Cam Lombardo scoring probably, definitely, one of the best hockey goals in Troy High School history right there in overtime. Well, how do you top that? Let's put a bow on this thing as the Trojans have a weekend sweep at home, as the Trojans winning both of their weekend games. Last night 5-0 against the Elder Panthers, and tonight in sudden death overtime defeating league-leading Alternites here on home ice. What an incredible weekend. We thank you for joining us and being a part of Troy Trojans hockey this weekend right here on Troy, Ohio TV. For everybody involved in our production crew on site here this weekend, for Lily Grace, Riley Nicole, for John Wyatt, for Rhino, for Jamie, for Brielle, our technical producer, I'm JT Zabo. Absolutely incredible finish to this weekend of hockey. We'll be back on the air Sunday, January 22nd as the Findlay Trojans come to town for Youth Hockey Night. We'll have that game for you right here, starting at 5:45. Don't forget, replays available of this and every game we've broadcast all season long on TroyOhioTV.com, as well as the Troy Ohio TV YouTube and Facebook pages. Again, for everybody I've already mentioned, I'm JT Zabo. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, hockey in Troy is played the Trojan way. Good night, everybody.